All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Monday, June 10th. We are live, and today we're going to be talking about a few things, specifically an owner that average owner does 3.9 million in sales. The high one is higher. What's up, Kevin?
How's it going?
Good. The high one is higher. All right. So in 5 minutes or less today, here's what we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about an existing franchise for sale that from the data we've been given, cash flows a 147K and so about 150 grand. An interesting business that we're going to show you where the FDD shows that the owner averages 3.9 million. The average owner averages, my goodness, I'm just all over the place today with my words. I can't speak. 3.9 million. I think you guys get the point. We'll talk about a story of some unlocked growth in a business from a franchisee, and then how you can get some free money if you're an entrepreneur. There's some free money out there for the taken. So let's rock. Hi, Mohammed. How are you? If you guys have any questions, drop them in the post a comment. Drop them below. As always, if you guys want to get this newsletter in your inbox on Sunday mornings when we send it out, plus you can read this little blurb here that we put out, then go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter. All right, man. Tell us about this resale.
Yeah, I liked your blurb this week. It was good. So
did you?
Yeah. So let's get into the resale. So we've talked about CertaPro painters before, but this is a really solid painting franchise business. So I think they were the largest painting franchise. I think another one recently maybe surpassed them, but they've been around since I think like the 1990s or something, established in 1992. So CertaPro, they do residential and commercial painting. They do interior and exterior. Really solid franchise system. We've helped a few people buy CertaPro painter franchises. We've helped with 2 CertaPro resales actually before. So very specific experience with CertaPro and with their resale process. They do a really nice job with it, and it's a good combination of going through validation with corporate and understanding, the training you're going to be going through and meeting the leadership team, as well as getting time with the individual owner that's selling. So if you live in the Chicago area, just actually spoke with someone this morning that does, and we'll be signing up for ZTPF. So this may be one that they're interested in actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I think they're actually right in that area.
That's crazy. What are the odds of that?
Yeah, no, I just thought of that. Like, I was like, oh shoot, I think they're right in the Naperville area. But anyways, based on what he was telling me, it could be a great fit, but we'll still talk about this. So it's in Naperville, Illinois. This CertaPro started in 2001, asking price of $450,000. Last 12 months revenue, just over $1 million. So, when I look at that, and they've been around started in 2001. So that's
23 years.
23 years. Wow. That's probably it is an underperforming location. I think there's more meat on the bone there, especially in, a Chicago suburb. But when you look at the average unit volume, especially for a business that's been around for that long, I think there's some opportunity to grow. But this one's cash flowing around 150,000. Owner is retiring. They have a lot of subcontractors in place. So, CertaPro uses subcontractors, which keeps your W-2 payroll lower, and so I imagine this one, they have, I would guess they have at least one residential salesperson and one like commercial salesperson. So from what I've learned is that's kind of the path you have, is a salesperson that focuses on residential customers and one that focuses on commercial, because it is probably a different type of customer. It's a different sale. So anyways, like I said, if you look at the FDD, the AUV for franchise locations open at least 12 months is right at 2 million. So this one's basically doing half of the average, and it's been around for 23 years. So,
wow.
I think there's probably significant opportunity to grow this. the guy I was speaking with earlier, he's a serial entrepreneur, recently sold his last business. Now he wants to buy a franchise, and his daughter has a really extensive sales background, and they
Mm.
want to find something that's unique for her skill set. So this is a great opportunity if you can manage a sales team and or do the sales yourself. I think you could come in and kind of hit the ground running in something like this. So it really is kind of all about sales. Most people think of painting franchise and they're like, well, I don't know anything about painting. Well, it doesn't matter. You'll learn what you need to know. If you can sell and manage a team of salespeople, that's where you could do, really well in a business like this. So yeah, I like Certipro. I think this is a really good opportunity, Chicago suburb. But yeah, what are your thoughts, Tari?
Yeah, I mean, exciting. I mean, like you said, we've had multiple clients now who have bought CertaPro resale franchises because they. So what's cool, for the folks listening is there are a couple of really established, what we would call blue chip franchise brands that have been around a long time. They've been around 20 years plus. They have well over 100 franchisees that are operating. And what happens is when franchises have been around so long, there starts to become a good turnover in the system, which is you start to have people that joined early on, when the brand didn't have the resources, didn't have the credibility, etc. And some of those people aren't folks that want to grow a big business. Sometimes earlier on they were maybe attracting more so folks that just wanted to just keep it simple, or maybe they were actually doing the work themselves. And so there's often these resale opportunities where you can find these, no disrespect to the owner, but what we would call underperforming based on the numbers, like Kevin's saying. This is one of the really cool things about franchise. Like some of you guys watching, you may be on the fence about, do I want to buy franchise? Should I? Totally get it. One of the things that I like is the unique advantage and insight into info that you have in data, because it's okay. Maybe you evaluate an existing business for sale that's not a franchise, right? It's kind of hard to gauge the benchmark, right? You can't just go to a bunch of your competitors within a 50 or 100-mile radius, be like, how much sales you doing? How much sales you doing? How much sales you doing? But when we can see that, hey, like Kevin said, the average unit sales for locations open 12 months is 2 million. And this thing has been around for 23 years. It's doing 1 million. So we know by a pretty substantial data pool that it is an underperforming location, and there's a lot of upside. So I think that's pretty cool overall. I tend to CertaPro is I think they do like profit and loss trainings with their franchisees. Like they have one of the most robust, I think, kind of support systems out of many concepts, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And they actually, in most cases for a resale, will put you through training before you actually close on the business transaction. Um, so to make sure like you've gone through training, and then once you're ready to close and officially take over the business, like you know what the hell you're doing, and you're gonna hit the ground running. So I think it's good. It's a really good point you made about like this is the type of you see in these blue chip brands where you might start seeing more resales, but it is a lot of times for CertaPro, it's these owners that have been around for 10 plus years, which is a good sign. On the
Yeah,
flip side, I see some brands, I'm like, why is there 20 resales right now? And this brand's only 5 years old. Like that is a huge red flag. And then you start to dig into it more and you look at the closures and terminations, it's like, whoa, that's you should
it's a
totally
good point.
avoid. So
Really good point.
yeah.
See, you guys, this is the level of insight that pros like Kevin have, um, because it is a really good point. And yeah, thanks for finishing the thought, because I didn't before, which is when brands get to this, they've been around this long, people retire, or they want to do a different business, or a lot of the time. I mean, my favorite, yeah, right here, it says it right here. Sorry, that probably just made a loud noise. Owners retiring. These are some of my favorite resales, because it's usually not like the shit's hitting the fan, in the business, but especially when you have someone for 20, 23 years. So, well, for those of you guys who are interested in checking on resales that are available in your area, you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. And you can schedule a free call in order for us to check and see what may be available in your specific area or market. And sometimes there's folks that go, "Hey, I'm willing to relocate. Like, if you find me a great opportunity that makes a bunch of money, I'll go somewhere else." So, maybe that's part of the conversation too, depending upon, if that works for your lifestyle. If you're remotely interested in this opportunity and you live in this area, I would highly recommend moving quickly, because like Kevin said, he had a call with someone earlier who's actually in this market that may wind up turning out to be a pretty quick turnaround on our end then, Kevin.
Yeah, I just, as you pulled that up, I was like, oh shit, okay, this might be a good one. So, we'll see. But maybe they're not interested. Who knows? It's early on. We still take them through a pretty standard process to see everything that might be out there. But you never know. So
For sure. All right, speaking of painting franchises, so you know, so this is a little bit of a client case study. We don't have a video on this one, but just thought it'd be interesting to talk to real quick. So, one of the things that people ask us is like, well, how are you guys different, or what do you guys do differently? And so at Franchise Empire, so well, our focus is on helping you find, vet, and launch your franchise, right? So, yes, we will go out there and find the franchise for you. Kevin and the brokerage team will do that. They do an exceptional job at that. Yes, we then have resources and help you with actually vetting the franchise, have you go through training modules on all of the T's that you need to cross and the I's dotted. I had to really think about that so that came out the right way. And we do like group calls with our client, like all sorts of amazing stuff. But the cool thing is that you get to keep working with us and coming on these calls that we do for life, right? We're for people who buy franchises through us. And so Tyree is a guy who actually bought a painting franchise, not that specific franchise, but a different painting franchise. Him and his wife started back in October, launched their business. I can't say how much money they're generating because I'd have to have the FDD and all that stuff, but I can tell you that they're doing really well. They got off to a really fast start, and he's been coming on these calls with a specific challenge every couple months. He'll come on, have a real big meaty challenge. Hey, all right, man, I'm ready to hire someone, and just talking through it. The tricky part is him and his wife, they both kept their full-time jobs. So they're in probably the most difficult scenario of launching a franchise. And they're still managing to crush it. And it just shows that, the best athletes in the world still have coaches. Like Tiger stopped working with the coach after many, many years, but like Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan had what's the guy's name that worked with Jordan and Kobe? Tim Grover. He was like the trainer for them. So like, what we find is that once you sign your franchise agreement, there's still some gaps that you want to know about about being an entrepreneur, right? And so for him in particular, he's like, hey man, we're crushing it in sales, but I'm struggling in cash flow. And so we talked through that challenge of his process of how he's collecting deposits, what percentage that he was taking for deposits. And basically, through just talking through it with him for like 30 minutes, we solved his cash flow problem, completely solved it. And his feedback was, man, the answer was so simple, but I needed to say it out loud. I needed to have the dialogue and the conversation. And so sometimes that's what we need. And so for those of you who don't know a lot about like what it looks like to work with us in our zero to profitable franchise system, this is one of the most fun parts, is what happens after you sign your franchise agreement, coming on some of those calls, getting to hear some of our other clients on the calls talk about what they're going through or what they bought or so on and so forth. So franchise of the week. All right. Tell us about this one. I'm excited to dive into it.
Yeah, Rebath is a really solid bath remodeling franchise. So they don't do anything else in the home but bathroom remodels. But they've been around for a while. So corporate location was started in 1978, started a dealer model in 91, and then converted to a franchise system in 2010. So They they have 136 franchise units throughout the country. Some people might be like, "Oh, that's not that many for how long they've been around." Well, they have massive territories, like really big. I think it's around a million plus people for their territory. So, some
Wow.
franchises are just like that. They want one owner in a metro market that's really going to just scale and dominate the market instead of like carving it up into multiple territories. So, this one, the total investment it's pretty substantial. It's between 276,000 and 610, because you do need a showroom for this one. So it's not anything crazy, but you need like a showroom with a warehouse attached to it, basically. So you will meet with some customers in that showroom. And then, of course, you're going to have salespeople that go out in home and do the consultations. You have an installation crew, and then you start to scale that as you get a certain backlog of projects. But they do everything from complete bathroom remodels to tub and shower updates, and then like aging and accessibility solutions, which I think is just going to continue to be a growing vertical. When people want to stay in their homes as long as possible, they need a bathtub, one of those bathtub that is handicap accessible. I think that whole vertical is going to continue to grow for them. But this is one where it's a true like kind of CEO model. You need to be able to kind of sit in that CEO seat and manage a sales team and manage, the production team and manage the financials, all the different, it's a big operation. And if you look at
Sorry,
the,
I was trying to find something that tracked with what you're
that's all
saying.
right, dude. You can't like try to follow what I'm talking about because I just like ramble on and go from like, it's
No,
like
it's great.
but yeah, so it's a really good business. Let's look at the financial data. So if we look at the item 19, you can see here, and I actually love this one because they break it down by like they do a lot of like average job size calculations. They give like average gross like marketing spend, which is cool. You can see like average cost per lead, average gross margin you can see here. But let's look at, I'm having a hard time right now. Okay, so average gross sales per unit disclosed here was 3.9 million. And so the high being 28 million, 28.7 million, which is wild.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what market that is in. It's got to be like a
And
Houston.
that's one unit.
Yeah, I think that's one unit. Yeah. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah. The lowest is doing 257, which is not good. But I mean, even if you look at the median gross sales per unit is 2.5 million, basically. Very, very strong. And then if you look at average gross margin, 50%, that's really good for that type of, service-based business. And then the average net is around 15%. I actually thought it'd be higher than that, but I do think you have a decent amount of overhead. Um,
Mm.
but like average, so if you're doing, let's do the math here. Well, even if you did like the median at 2.4 million sales times 11%, that's 264 net on average. Oh, that's
That's a
not
good
average. That's median. Median.
that's median. Average is like 370.
Yeah, median is even higher. Yeah.
You mean average?
Yeah, sorry. Average is even. I promise.
We want to make sure you're paying attention,
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen. We're talking numbers here, okay?
yeah. Don't make
This
me
is
do
serious stuff.
spot. Yeah. So it's a good like bottom line. I think it's definitely a scalable business. It's probably not for everyone because it is a decent size investment, and you do need to be able to like kind of step into that true CEO role pretty quickly. But yeah, I like this business quite a bit. They do. Oh, one big important fact is they do have national accounts with Lowe's, Home Depot, and Sam's Club. So you get a shit ton of referrals from those companies in your area, which is pretty cool. So when the development guy looks at markets for me, I'll have a new client potentially. I'll say, hey, what does this market look like? He'll be like, okay, there's this many Lowe's, this many Home Depots. This is a really good potential market. We're not satisfying. They really like to see a lot of Lowe's specifically. So that's one of the ways they build their territories along with population count.
Interesting.
The other cool thing, as you can see here, it's a quick turnaround for the customer. So the jobs are typically less than 5 days, which is a huge selling point. I guess you eventually open that showroom. I don't really understand. That's one thing I don't really get on it is like why you need a showroom for this type of business. Like who's coming into a showroom to talk about a bathroom remodel, but maybe there are people that do that. So
Mm, I think it's probably something that helps seal the deal for people because some people are so visual. It's like they need to come and see it and feel some of the samples or whatever, or just yeah. I'm sure it probably helps. I'd be curious to know like what the big advantage to that is, but I guess I could see how there could be an advantage.
yeah, yeah, that would be a question I'd have for him. But I mean, they've obviously got a model in place that works. I think those national accounts are pretty dang cool. Like you don't see a lot of franchises with national accounts with Lowe's and Home Depot. So I think that's probably a huge differentiator for them. And maybe that's where it is. It's like you get a client in Lowe's and they're like, go to this rebath showroom. They'll meet with you, to give you a better idea. And then,
Mm,
maybe that's how it works.
yeah. And guys, like, there's a lot of talk about recession, stuff like that. This like that. I think, these spaces are interesting right now because you got so many people that because of the housing market, they're not going to sell their home. They're not going to sell for a few years now because they're not going to be able to, they're priced out of the market. Maybe they just can't afford to buy at the level of new homes are at. Um, and so I think you're going to see that like people will continue. My opinion is that the upgrade market in homes and stuff will continue to stay relatively strong until things really pick up with the real estate market. That's my opinion on that.
Yeah.
So
It's an interesting take.
yes, sir. Well, if you guys are interested in seeing if this franchise is still available in your area, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. And, we can see if it's available for you, or if you just want to see, hey, what franchises are available in my specific area, then go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. You can set up a free 15-minute call with the team. All right, last but not least, so this is pretty cool, this conversation. So basically, if any of you own businesses right now or you're getting ready to go into a franchise or business, there's basically grants out there, grants to hire and train your people in your business, people that you already plan to hire or people that already work for you. One of our clients got a $15,000 grant for the people she was going to hire to open up her franchise. Like she was going to hire those people anyways. And so we did a podcast interview with Kareem, who's one of the coaches on our team, multi-unit franchisee, and he's the expert on this topic. So definitely go check it out. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to have a conversation with Kareem because you have employees or you plan to hire, go to franchiseempire.com/biz grants, BIZ grants. But you could just look up on YouTube the Franchise Empire Show and watch the latest episode. All right, that's about all I got. Any parting words, Kevin?
No, that's it. Yeah. Short and sweet.
Short and sweet today. Yeah, I could use the time back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a great rest of your week. We will see you on the next one. Bye.